It had been 2 years since I last saw him. 2 long years of silence and sleepless nights, 2 years of convincing myself that love can fade if you stop feeding it. But I was wrong, because love doesn't die, it just hides under your ribs, waiting for one moment to come alive again. I thought I had buried everything that belonged to him, the smell of his cologne on my pillow, the way he used to say my name when he was half asleep, the sound of his laugh echoing down the empty hallways of my memory. But then, last night, I dreamt of him again. And today, fate decided to play its cruelest joke on me. I saw him at the airport after 2 years with another girl. Los Angeles International Airport was crowded as usual, flights delayed, announcements blaring, coffee spilling, tired faces dragging suitcases, the chaos of everyday life. I was there for work, returning from a client shoot, camera hanging around my neck, exhausted, craving only sleep and silence. I was standing near gate 47, waiting for my Uber, when I heard a voice. A familiar voice, deep, calm, the kind that once could quiet my storms. I froze, my heart skipping beats before my brain could even recognize it. And when I turned, there he was, Ryan, the man who promised forever and left without saying goodbye. He was standing near the boarding line, smiling that same crooked smile, wearing the same leather jacket I had given him on his 28th birthday, the jacket that still carried my initials engraved inside its collar. But he wasn't alone. Beside him stood a girl, tall, pretty, dark hair tied back neat and effortless. She was holding his hand as if it belonged to her, and he didn't resist. He looked happy, genuinely happy. And in that moment, every ounce of strength I'd built over 2 years cracked like glass under pressure. I wanted to look away. I wanted to walk out of there before my heart shattered again. But I couldn't. My feet were rooted to the ground, like some cruel, invisible chain was holding me in place. I watched as she adjusted his collar and laughed, and he leaned close and kissed her forehead so softly it felt like I'd just witnessed the death of my own memory of him. I whispered his name under my breath, barely audible, but he turned as if he had heard it. Our eyes met across the crowd, and for one breath, the world stopped. He froze, his smile fading, replaced by something unreadable. Surprise, maybe, or guilt, or fear. I don't know. But it wasn't love. Not anymore. He stared for a few seconds and then turned away, as if I was a stranger, and walked off with her into the crowd. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to run after him, scream, cry, anything. But before I could move, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I looked down. An unknown number had sent me a message. It said, "Don't follow him. It's not safe." I frowned, confused. Maybe it was coincidence, maybe spam. But then another text came immediately after. "You promised to forget him, Emily." And I froze, because no one in LA called me Emily. I had changed my name after he left, started fresh, legally, new ID, new life. No one here knew who I used to be. I looked around, my heart racing, scanning faces near me, but no one seemed to notice me. I could still see him walking out the doors, holding that girl's hand, disappearing into a black SUV. I couldn't stop myself. I ran out the exit, grabbed the first cab I saw, and told the driver to follow that car. We drove through downtown, lights flashing past like ghosts, but somewhere near the freeway, they vanished. No sign of them. Gone. The driver asked if I was okay. I lied, said yes, but inside my mind screamed no. Because everything about this felt wrong, like a dream I had already lived once. I reached home hours later, trembling, the texts still on my phone, glowing like warnings from another life. I tried calling the number, but it was disconnected. I poured myself a drink, sat on the floor, and stared at the old photo of us in Boston on the night he left, the same photo I had sworn never to look at again. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, not the way he looked before, but how he looked today. Older, colder, haunted.
I finally drifted off near dawn, and when I woke, my phone buzzed again. Same number, this time only one line. Remember Boston? Boston. 2 years ago, the night he disappeared, it came rushing back. Fragments, pieces of memory I had buried. The rain, the sirens, the way he said, "If anyone asks about me, tell them you never knew me." At the time, I thought it was some poetic heartbreak line, but now I wasn't so sure. I started searching old archives, Boston Globe articles, anything. And there it was. A headline I had never seen before. Explosion in South End warehouse. 2 dead, 1 missing. Possible corporate espionage. The missing man, Ryan Cole, 30 years old. My blood ran cold. My Ryan. Same name, same photo, same eyes. It said the case was closed, no suspect identified. I stared at that screen for hours, tears blurring the text, because I had seen him today, alive. But if the world believed he was dead, then who was the man I saw, or who wanted me to see him? Days passed. I couldn't focus at work. I kept feeling watched. Small things out of place in my apartment. Windows slightly open when I was sure I'd close them. Lights flickering at random times. One night, I came home to find a small white envelope slid under my door. Inside, a Polaroid photo of me, taken that very morning at the cafe near my office. Angle perfect, distance far enough that I didn't notice anyone watching. And written in red ink on the back, "Stop digging or you'll join him." I called the police. They took the note, ran prints, nothing. No match. No clue. They asked if I was in danger, if there was anyone who might want to hurt me. I said no, but inside, I wasn't sure anymore. That night, I sat in my living room, lights off, staring at the reflection of the city through the glass, when I saw something move behind me in the reflection. A shadow, tall, still watching me. I spun around. Nothing there, but my heart wouldn't calm down. The next morning, another message. Same number, this time a video file. I hesitated before opening it. The footage was blurry. Handheld, someone walking through a motel corridor, the camera tilted, then focused on a door. Room 103. The door opened, and inside was Ryan, sitting on the bed, staring blankly at the camera, then whispering my name. "Emily, if you see this, don't trust anyone, not even yourself." I screamed, dropped the phone. What did that even mean? Not even yourself? I replayed the video over and over, noticing details. A calendar behind him dated 2 days ago. It wasn't old, it was new. He was alive, somewhere. I booked a flight to Boston, determined to find answers. I didn't care if it killed me. When I landed, the city felt strange, colder, quieter, or maybe it was just me. I traced the motel from the video. After hours of searching, found it, a rundown place near the edge of town. I asked about room 103. The receptionist said no one by that name had checked in recently. I offered money. She shrugged, said sometimes people pay cash, no ID. I asked if I could see the room. She hesitated, then handed me a spare key. I wanted to run, but before I could, the TV flickered on by itself. Static at first, then Ryan's face appearing again. Pale, eyes hollow. He whispered, "They found me, Emily. They know you're looking. Stop before it's too late. It wasn't an accident what happened the night of the fire. You were there. You filmed everything. They'll do anything to erase it. Again." And then the screen went black. "Again," he said. "Erase it again." I sat on the floor shaking, memory fragments exploding in my head. The night of the fire, I was there. I remembered flashes, smoke, running, his voice yelling, "Hurry," the camera light blinking, and then a bang. After that, nothing. Maybe I lost consciousness. Maybe someone made sure I forgot. I left the motel, drove to his old house, desperate. His mother opened the door, pale as if she'd seen a ghost. She whispered, "I told him not to involve you again. I begged him to let you go, but he wouldn't. He said you had the proof." I asked, "Proof of what?" She said, "He discovered something. The company he worked for wasn't building tech for communication. They were building systems to control data, memories, identities. They wanted to test it on real people. You were one of them. He saved you, but it cost everything. He faked his death to protect you, but now they know you remember." She gave me a flash drive, said he wanted you to have this if anything happened. Back in my hotel room, I plugged it in. It contained encrypted files, dozens of documents, videos, contracts, all labeled Project Mirror. I opened one. It showed lab footage, experiments on human subjects, devices connected to their heads, memory sequences being rewritten. One of them was me, sitting unconscious, wires attached to my temple, date stamped the night after the fire, 2 years ago. I dropped the laptop, tears streaming. My entire life had been edited, rewritten. He hadn't abandoned me. He had tried to erase my pain, but in doing so, he had erased us. Just then, my phone buzzed again. Message, unknown number. "They know you found it. Run now." I grabbed the drive and ran down the stairs, but the lobby lights flickered, the glass doors locked automatically. I could see black SUVs pulling up outside, men in suits stepping out. I ran to the back exit, broke through the kitchen window into the alley, sprinted until my lungs burned, finally hiding behind dumpsters, the night air thick with sirens. I escaped to the train station, bought a ticket to anywhere, and sat shaking until dawn. When I reached New York, I checked into a cheap motel, changed phones, identities again, deleted everything but one copy of the drive. I had to know the truth. I sent it anonymously to a journalist I trusted, under the alias Mirror Witness, and waited. Days passed. Then one night I saw the headline leak online. Government memory experiment exposed. Whistleblower footage reveals illegal identity manipulation facility. And beneath it, the byline, witness name withheld for protection. I smiled through tears, thinking, maybe now it's over. Maybe I can finally breathe. But peace doesn't come that easy. Next morning, another envelope at my door. No address inside. A single photo of Ryan sitting in a cafe, alive, smiling, wearing a new suit. And beside him, the same girl from the airport. She looked right into the camera, and on the back of the photo, written in that same familiar handwriting, was one line. "See, Emily, I told you you can't lose me, even if you try." I stared at the photo for hours, my heart numb, because maybe he was never protecting me. Maybe he was controlling me. Maybe the man I loved never existed at all, just a program, a memory implanted to keep me silent. I looked up at the mirror across the room, and for a moment my reflection blinked, a second later than I did, like something out of sync, and then the lights went out.